Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys had a fantastic Friday night wherever you were. I am in my kitchen, dining room, and enjoying my herbal detox tea, which is so soothing for the gut, part of our Arbonne 30 days. I am Erin Harrigan, your Hustle with Heart coach and healthy living coach with Arbonne. I want to welcome you to our daily dose of success God's way. And this is a quick daily live that I do for God-centered entrepreneurs and those who want to pursue success God's way. And if you want to connect with a like-minded community, we have our Success God's Way community on Facebook as well. And so today's daily dose. So I've been coming to you from this Bible study, Experiencing Success God's Way by Charles Stanley. And a few weeks ago, we talked about setting godly goals. And so this next few days, I'm talking about pursuing God's goals. And I think that's the title of this chapter in the study is Pursuing God's Goals. And I think that's so important to remember that as God-centered entrepreneurs and pursuing success God's way, our goal setting is not about us and our goals. It's about His. And I want to share with you two quick things. A few years ago, before I really was in a relationship with Jesus and had turned my life over to Him, so it was probably the spring of 2014 because I was saved in October 2014. I read the book, The Circle Maker, which is a fantastic book by Mark Batterson, who is the pastor of National Community Church in DC. And it is a fantastic book. However, you know, I have a lot of books that people recommend to me, and I used to buy all of them, and then I'd never get to them. And I've decided now going forward, I'm only buying the books that I really feel I've prayed over and are timely for me where I am in my journey. Anyway, so I bought that book, and I mistakenly thought when it said circle your prayer that it was about my prayer. And my prayer at the time was to reach the top of my company. And there's nothing wrong with that prayer, except that for me, at that time, that was not God's goal for me. And so I remember getting down on my knees in my living room, and I drew a circle around myself. And I was like, Lord, I am circling in prayer that you are going to make me a national vice president. And the ridiculous thing about that was it had so little to do with Him and everything to do with me. And so the reason I share that with you is also related to the verse that I posted this morning from Psalm 37, which is, I posted the whole section of verses 1 through 7 from Psalm 37. I'm just looking down at my Bible. But specifically verse 4, which is delight yourself in the Lord and He shall give you the desires of your heart. And so often when we are not walking in lockstep with the Lord, when we are not in relationship with Him, our goals have nothing to do with Him. And we will read this verse and we will extrapolate it to our life and think, oh, well, the desires of my heart, all I have to do is ask God and He's going to give it to me. And, that also gets coupled with some other verses in the Bible, ask and you shall find. Hey, Mandy, it's good to see you. Mendy, I was reading it wrong. Sorry, my friend. I do know your name. And very often we're like, oh, I just have to ask and He'll give it to me. Ask and you shall receive. But guys, it's got to be asking for what He wants. And so my point, and I'm going to get to the lesson in just a second, is that these are the desires that He places in our heart, not us. And if we are walking in lockstep with Him and we know Him and we're spending time with Him consistently daily, then we get to know the character of our Lord and our Creator, and we get to know what it means for Him to give us desires that truly bring us peace. So anyway, that's a long story, but I am still on that journey because my Arbonne business is still, active and rocking. But the way that I pray over that and such is very different because I'm pursuing success God's way. And that's the point of these daily doses. Okay, so today's lesson in pursuing godly goals or God's goals is a consuming desire to reach the goal. And if you've read anything by Napoleon Hill, like Think and Grow Rich or Outwitting the Devil, or even Think and Grow Rich for Women by Sharon Lechter, you know that a burning desire is part of what's so important in reaching goals. So here's what this says. And this chapter on God's goals has been really focused on King David and the story of him slaying Goliath. So this says, David could not be talked out of pursuing his goal. So can you imagine, like, here's this teenager and he's on the battle lines and the Israelites are like fearing. And here's this giant Philistine Goliath who every day is like, what are you guys going to do? Bring me a man that can fight me. And the Israelites are like, wah. And here comes this teenager David who's like, oh, I'm taking him down. And everybody's like, no, David, you're just a kid. You're just, a shepherd boy. Like, that's not going to happen. His brothers are trying to dissuade him. And then, King Saul is like, take on my armor. And he's like, your armor's too big for me. And this is God's fight. All right. So everyone tried to dissuade him, but he refused to be discouraged. And he refused to quit talking about defeating Goliath. If your goals are from the Lord, you will have a deep feeling within you that you must accomplish them in order to be obedient to him and bring benefit to others. And remember, if you listened yesterday, we talked about our goals are not about us. Us reaching these goals have an impact on the world. And so it can't be just about us. And so this reference verse is Galatians 4:18, but it is good to be zealous in a good thing always, and not only when I am present with you. So I want you to think about two things. Where and when have you been zealous in doing something good? Something not just about you. Where have you had so much zeal, and what fueled that for you? What was it that fueled you to go after it? And then the second thing is, when have you faced strong opposition when trying to obey the Lord's commands? So I want to give you an example of that. When I really have been praying over my coaching business, my Hustle with Heart coaching, I was getting some pushback and some questioning. And I'll tell you where that came from. Some of it came from me internally, like, well, why would you go and pursue that when you have this other business? And aren't you adding more to your plate? And aren't you dividing your focus? And then I was getting some pushback from some people that I consider my friends who were like, nobody wants to hear you talk about God. Like, they didn't say that, but they said, I don't think this is the right venue for you to bring up that you are the Hustle with Heart coach and that you're all about helping entrepreneurs align results with God's truth. Like, I don't really think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. And so, but I felt a zeal in my heart to do this because I knew that God wanted to use my story to inspire and empower others, and that I could help other successful women who had hit a wall or had hit a level of success but weren't feeling fulfillment. And I could help them through that by helping them understand that, like, having God at the center of it brought so much richness to their business and to success, and that their success was bigger than them. So anyway, so that's the lesson for today. I do want to remind you that I am doing our weekly live Sunday evening in the Success God's Way community. So if you have not yet joined our community, I really encourage you to do that. We've got a group of 35, 40 of us that are just engaging and learning, and so I do my weekly dose there, and I'm still praying over what my weekly dose message will be. It might be something on leadership from John Maxwell. It might be something on divine interruption from the book of Jonah. Hey, Michelle. So I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, but we will be going live on Sunday night. I'm going to be posting the message about that. Number 2, you've heard me talk about this idea of Hustle with Heart and helping entrepreneurs align their results with God's truth. So if there is anyone that is an entrepreneur that's truly passionate about their business, but maybe they're struggling a little bit, I'd love for you to put me in touch with them, because maybe I'm the right coach for them, or maybe I can refer them to the right person that can help them. And then number 3, I recently launched my website, erinharrigan.com. I'd love for you to go over there and check it out. Explore it, and if there's anything that I can help you with through that, whether it's this coaching, or your organization needs a speaker, or maybe you want to join our next 30 days to healthy living, Arbonne 30, which I'm kicking off my next group on February 25th and March 4th, let me know. So that's the Daily Dose for today, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow.